Hello everyone and welcome to today's video where Aiden and I are standing on a beach. Now if you know me, you know I hate voiceovers, but we can do it for today's video. So hi and welcome. Today I'm doing a random places makeup tutorial on the beach. Now of course I'm not alone. Aiden is sitting near me, keeping an eye on things and handing me everything I need while I get started on my makeup. So first thing first, I'm going to put on some primer. I decided to use this primer by Rooibos, which has SPF in it. I already put SPF everywhere else on me. I think I'm wearing like SPF 30 right now, even though it's cloudy. My goal was to not get any new tan lines while we were at the beach, but I didn't want to put my regular sunscreen on my face because it is a little bit oily and it feels a little bit gross to have on your face. So to make sure that the makeup doesn't slip around and everything, I went with a primer that has SPF in it. Next up, I'm going in with foundation. You guys all know the drill. I really like putting the foundation on the back of my hand and then using a beauty blender to apply to my face. Unfortunately, I do get foundation in my hair sometimes when I do this, but you can always clean that out. Hello, Cabby. Hello, Cabby. You're in my face, ma'am. Excuse me. Thank you. And since my swimsuit doesn't cover my chest, I make sure to blend my foundation down my neck as well. Moving on to primer, I really want to brighten up my face, so I'm applying it on all the typical areas. I'm putting it under my eyes, and then I connect it to my upper lip to bring that whole like triangle in the center of my face forward, and then a touch on my chin and my forehead before blending it all in with my beauty blender. So while I continue with my foundation routine, let me tell you a little bit about where we are. I am currently standing on a place called Kids Beach, and I thought it was kids like children's beach, but no, it's Kids, Kidds, as in a man named Kid, his beach. And Aiden and I actually argued about this quite a bunch because there's one sign where you come in that says it's kids as in children, and then there's one sign by the beach itself that says kids as in the surname. And I saw the one, he saw the other, and we kept arguing about what the actual name of the beach is. But this is the beach Aiden used to come to all throughout his childhood. His family owns a beach house literally a 5-minute block away from this small bay. So they used to come down every holiday season and spend some time here. And he really wanted to show this place to me too. So we decided to make a trip out of it and come down. It was a 10-hour road trip down from where we stay to this place, which was the longest road trip Aiden and I have been on. We regularly drive up to his parents' farm, which takes about 3 hours from where we stay, but there's a very big difference between a 3-hour trip and a 10-hour trip. And I was struggling to stay awake at first, but I ended up having fun. Now this beach is in Leisure Bay, which is close to Margate and Ramsgate and all those other popular holiday destinations. We're also very close to Durban itself. But these beaches were very different than the beaches that I grew up with, because this beach is kind of like on the east coast, even though it's referred to as the south coast. And I grew up with beaches more by Cape Town, which is more like the southern point of the country. And in Leisure Bay, the water is warm. They had this board where they said every day what the water temperature is, and it was something like 25 degrees Celsius regularly, while the day itself was only like 25 to 27 degrees. So the water was almost room temperature. Depending on the weather you had that day, if it's been cloudy for a while, the water is a little bit cooler, but the water still stays in the upper teens to low 20s. And all the beaches here are little bays, so there's kind of like rocks on either side, and you walk into the water and then it dips down and it gets pretty deep, and then it comes back out on a sandbank, and then it slowly gets deep again until you get to like the breakers. There are, however, pretty strong currents, so you do kind of get pulled to like one direction the whole time, and there are boards up everywhere on how to like escape a current if you get caught in one, which I found pretty intimidating because again, the beaches I'm used to don't have cross currents that you have to worry about. The beaches I'm used to are these long, expansive white beaches where the water gradually gets deeper and the waves get massive. And the water is cold. The water's like 10 degrees and lower. And Aiden likes to think I am insane for swimming in this cold water. A lot of people that are not used to the cold water in Cape Town don't usually go swimming that much because the water's an adjustment to them. But I grew up in Cape Town and we went to the beach semi-regularly. And this is what I expect when I go to the beach. So the cold water doesn't faze me where Aiden doesn't want to get into it. Where here, where the water's a lot warmer, it was pretty nice. Warmer water is a lot easier to get into and get out of, so you can get in, swim a little bit, come lie on your towel, go back in, go back and forth as much as you want to. Where in Cape Town, if the water's cold, it takes a minute to like really get in and enjoy it. So once you're in there, you want to be in there to actually enjoy it before you get out, because when you get out, you're probably not going in again. And because the water in Cape Town is so cold, you don't really want to go swimming too late in the day because then it's going to start cooling down and then you're in the cold water. And when you get out then, it's pretty rough. So it's better to swim in the afternoon when it's like super hot. Where here, we typically went to the beach relatively late in the afternoon. And we ended up sitting in the beach until like 6 o'clock, which by that time, I'd usually already be on my way back home. But the biggest difference between the beaches that we were used to is I have like a certain set of rules for when you're in the ocean that Aiden doesn't know at all because they're not applicable in these bays where he's used to going. The biggest one of those is I was always taught as a kid, you do not go into any water that is deeper than your belly button, because if the water is deeper than that and a wave comes, it's probably going to take you with it. Where here, since there's like a dip before the sandbank, you're not touching the ground as you go through, but you're entirely safe while you're in that dip. The waves are just swells, it's not crashing on you, and you can just swim across. But the first time Aiden wanted to go there, I was stressing. I was like, we can't do this, we're gonna drown, we can't go this deep into the water. And he was like, no, it's fine, it's fine. So it was a very different experience, but it's fun, and it's very interesting to see how diverse something like the ocean can be. Like, I know the ocean is very variable, but I didn't think beaches could be so incredibly different. So what type of beach do you enjoy? Do you enjoy like a warmer beach? Do you enjoy a cooler beach? Do you enjoy the long beaches, or do you prefer a bay? How deep do you go into the water? All those fun things. I used to love the rock pools when I was a kid. We used to like look for all the little fishies that were in there, and we could spend ages there. But the rocks that I'm used to are also different than the rocks you get here, which makes sense. Geology is different depending on what place you go to. But I'll show you the rocks we had in Cape Town compared to the rocks that we have here. And the ones we have here are a lot less sharp. I'm a lot less scared to go on them. Like the ones in Cape Town, if you climb on them, you kind of have to watch your step. It's pretty easy to like cut yourself on them. Where here, they're all like nicely rounded, properly eroded, so they're very safe to travel on. We did get to see a few fishies in the rock pools, but we didn't see much else. The sea life differs based on the temperature of the water, which is another thing I wanted to mention. We saw a bunch of sea life when we were here. On our first day, we saw whales breaching and blowing, and we got to see that like cliche shot of a whale lifting its tail out of the water. That was really fun to see. But one of the other days we went swimming and we saw a fin near us in the water, and we were like, whoa, 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 we're getting out of this water right now. We know there are shark nets here, which means there are sharks in this area, so let's rather just get out because those fins are pretty close. But when we got out of the water and we looked back, there were like 5-6 dolphins swimming pretty close to the beach itself and just playing around, and then they kind of migrated from the one side to the other. And that was super cool to see. I can't recall ever seeing much aquatic life when we were in Cape Town other than the occasional whale. So that was very cool. But those are all the comparisons I have for you. Let's actually have a look at the makeup that I was doing here. As you saw, I did my regular foundation routine and I got to use a tiny little beauty blender for the first time. That thing is adorable. But I also made sure to add a lot of bronzing because we are at the beach. We're going for that golden glowing look. As much as I don't want to get it from the sun, I will put it on with makeup. So I picked up like a shimmery bronzer to contour my face with. After all that, for the eyeshadow, I decided to do a look that was half brown, half blue, because we're down by the blue water, so why not use some ocean colors in my eyeshadow? So I did that thing where I kind of shape out the eyeshadow, where I create the triangle in the outer corner and then bring it into my inner corner. And I colored it in with blue, green colors on the inner corner and then some browns on the outer corner. Oh, but wait, let me show you the little look around that I always give you. I'm using this big mirror so you can see everything. It is very green in this area. See, all along the beach, it's the sand, and then immediately a bunch of greenery behind it. It's also a bunch of rocks around, which you can see are like more rounded, like I mentioned. There's also a river mouth here. And depending on if it was raining or not, it's flowing or it's dry. But as a result, there's like really soft sand. And if you go stand in it, you kind of sink in. But that's what it looks like where I was filming. And then on my lid, I added some light shimmers just to catch a little bit of the light there. Instead of doing eyeliner and risking getting grains of sand in my eyeliner because the sand was everywhere, you do not want to know what my beauty blender looks like right now, I decided to just do an eyeshadow wing with some eyeshadow. I felt like that defined my eye enough, plus I wasn't going to be putting on any lashes because lash glue sand sound like a terrible idea. so I didn't feel the need for full eyeliner. And then for lips, it is the standard struggle of not being sure of what color to do. I ended up being pretty happy with the final result, but funnily enough, most times I'm happy with my lipstick these days. It's when I did my lips with concealer, which are we truly going back to the 2000s doing concealer lips? But this is what the final result looks like. This is what it looks like up close, and it looks like I got a little bit of mascara on me, but that's fine. But then that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye bye.